What up, everybody? Welcome back to Royal Blu FX. In today's video, we're going to talk about the misconception of trading every currency in Forex. So stay tuned. And whoa, before we continue, we have 3 days left now before the prices go up back on our courses. Right now, our course is at $249, unlimited plan right now. That means you get one-on-one sessions with me on Zoom from every Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So check us out right now at RoyalBluFX.com to start with us today. So everyone has this misconception of always wanting to trade everything they see in Forex, like every single currency pair, right? Well, the misconception is wrong, because in this video, we're actually going to talk about how not to trade everything in the Forex market, but only trade one currency pair at a time. And this is actually going to do something amazing to your psychology. This means you're going to be more laser focused on your trade, and you'll be able to trade better, and you'll be able to manage your trades a lot better when you're entering. This has helped me a lot in the last 4 years when I've been trading. This is one of the biggest reasons why I have a big edge in the trading game. Oh, let's go. About this for a second, okay? If I was to trade about 12 currencies, okay, and I'm looking at those each currency pairs and trying to get a trade out of each of them, right? What would that actually do to your head, right? Psychologically speaking, what would that actually do to your head? It would most likely confuse you, right? Because our brain isn't able to register everything all at once. There are people that can do it, right? Maybe with 2 to 3 currency pairs, right? But trading multiple currencies all at once, or looking at multiple currencies all at once, can get very tedious and boring. It can confuse you as well, because what's actually happening on every currency pair is that prices are going up, prices are going down, prices are going sideways, prices are going in and around, right? So what you want to be doing is obviously paying attention to one currency pair. And the reason for that is because it is going to help you a lot in order to gain more confidence. This is going to help your eyes and brain to have extreme focus on one thing only, right? One move, whether that's bullish or bearish, okay? And so, like right here, for example, on gold USD right here, okay, if I was just to pay attention to gold USD, imagine the high accuracy that I'll be having based on me just seeing gold and US30, GBP USD, Euro USD, GBP, JPY, and all that other and all the other currencies, right? Imagine just focusing on one, right? So let's just say, let's go on the 4 hour for example, right? And let's just say we're focusing on gold alone, right? I would rather focus on gold and make sure I hit it. I have this thing that's called a one kill, one shot, or one shot, one kill, excuse me. Where I just focus on on US30 only, okay, and that's the only pair that I ever trade, because you can actually gain a lot from each currency, okay. So if I'm on the daily, for example, something like this, and I see where the daily is going, we see prices going bullish on the daily. There's your order block right there, okay. I know that prices are retracing now on the daily, right? So if prices are retracing on the daily, we have a break, another break, right? We have a third break here, right? I know that I'm looking for price to go bearish here, right? I'm not trying to say, okay, I'm going to be on the daily here on the gold, right? Then I'm going to go on US30 now, and then I'm also going to be on the daily on US30 as well, and we'll look for price to go bullish here. Well, you can see prices are going bullish, right? But then going down, let's just say on the 15-minute, whatever, we're going to wait for prices to retrace on the daily, say down here, or right over here, right? No, I'm just marking something like this, right? Something like this, right? And we wait for price to get here, and when price gets here, then I'm going to look for buys, right? Now, a lot of people have that misconception of thinking that they need to do an overanalysis or overanalyze on so many currencies, and this is why you get what is called a brain fatigue, or a trading fatigue, right? Because it's getting boring and tiring to wait for prices to get to those demand and supply zones, right? So this is why I highly suggest just trading and looking at one currency pair at a time. Now watch this. If I'm looking on the daily time frame, right? Let's say I'm just trading gold, and I'm only looking to trade gold only, right? I'm starting on the daily, right? It will take me days upon weeks before price even gets to this demand zone, right? So obviously I have another choice, right? Because we know that every time frame is perspective based, right? We need to look at every time frame as an opportunity, okay? Every time frame as an opportunity, which means if I'm on the daily, right, I know I'll just wait for price to get here on the daily. It'll take me, days upon weeks for price to get here in order for me to buy, and hold for probably an entire year here, maybe even months, right? However, I can trade now, as well. Because we know prices, it's different perspective, and it's fractal, we can trade whether price is going bearish or bullish. Okay, so if we go down on the 4 hour like this, okay, we can see that the 4 hour is actually bullish here, right there, right? So now we know if prices are bullish on the 4 hour, let's go down on the let's go even on the 50-minute, right? Okay, price on the 50-minute is still bullish as well, so we can still be buying on the 50-minute. Let's go down on the 3-minute, right? We can see price here on the 3-minute is actually going bearish because you can see there's highs and lows right over here, right? Of course, you can zoom out, right? Do an over analysis like this and say to yourself, there's a break of structure, right? We're waiting for price to get here, right? You can still look to sell now based on this swing low to swing high, meaning you can start selling price here, right? Let's just say because I trade the New York Open all the time, I can wait for the New York Open to open up, right? I do all my analysis, right? I see my highs and my lows, right? I'm waiting for price to get up here to the supply zone, right? When the New York happens, I'm going to strike here and go bearish here, for example, right? Because I know this is where price needs to come to next, right here, okay? And then from this demand zone, I'm going to look for prices to go bullish here, okay? So this is why you can actually get a lot of trades more than you think, okay? Because a lot of people think, oh, I'm only going to be able to catch one trade or one entry if I just look at one currency pair, right, or indice pair or whatever, okay? But that's not the case because you can actually trade a lot, okay? So if I'm on a 3-minute here, for example, because again, every time frame is perspective based, I'm gonna look at the 3-minute as my higher time frame, which means now that every structure that I see, every low and high that I see here is my higher time frame perspective. I'm not going to go above the 5-minute, above the 3-minute at all. I'm going to look from the 3-minute and anywhere below because now I'll have a lot of data that I have gathered from the 3-minute all the way down to the 5 seconds. And the 5 seconds time frame will be my entry time frame. So if I'm looking at the 3-minute, okay, as my higher time frame, I mark out where my break of structures are. There's my break. Okay, here's another break that I'm looking for price to get to right there, right? And if that happens, I can go all the way down to lower time frames just to catch the next entry, right? So something like this, like I was telling you about, right? Once we get here to this supply zone right there, I can go down to 5 seconds and wait for prices to exchange because now we know that the 3-minute is bearish, therefore the 5 seconds must also be bearish as well, right? So once we catch a 5-second entry like this, let's just say price exchanges like this, we have a chalk, right? We have our flip now from here, right? And then we have all the reaction points, right? You can be getting in on this move, this move, this move, right? When we have price breaking and mitigating, right? Something like this again, break and mitigation, right? Boom, right? Once price does this, we're still on the 3-minute, maybe even the 1-minute, right? And then now you can look for price to exchange here, right? And all you got to do is obviously just be patient, just like this, right? You get a chalk, right? You get the flip, most likely, right? Enter on the flip and then continue bullish, right? Reaction points, right? So we have another buy coming in, more reaction points, another buy coming in, and so forth and so on, just like this, right? And this is how trading is done, at least in my perspective. On all the perspectives and everything that I've traded, okay, I've had more accuracy and more of a stronger sense of understanding that I don't need to be looking at everything to confuse my brain in order to find where other opportunities are. Rather, just stick to something that you really like, a currency pair or an index pair, and just stick to it, and then let your brain see what it does to you based on how you'll be able to see more accuracy, more trading abilities, okay? And you'll be able to also have a special relationship with that currency because you'll know how that currency or indice pair moves, okay? And that's what has been happening for me for the longest time, okay? Because before, I used to trade everything and anything. Like when I first started out, actually, here's an interesting story. When I first started out, I actually was analyzing, I think about close to 60 or so currency pairs with indices, right? And everything, even stocks. And I would do an analysis on everything. So I would go from the 1 hour and go all the way down to 1 minute, essentially. And I would do an analysis from the 1 hour all the way down to 1 minute. And I would try and keep a track of everything, just so I don't miss the opportunity. And the funny thing about that is, traders, we obviously don't want to miss opportunities, but overanalyzing everything is also the definition of missing opportunities, and also failing as well, because you could fail a lot when you're over trading and when you're over analyzing, right? You get this fatigue, this over analyzing fatigue, right? So do yourself a favor, just look at one currency pair, start from the higher time frame and break that higher time frame down to a smaller structure. Okay, all the way down to the 1 minute, so that way you can take advantage of what is actually happening in the market. So again, like I mentioned, if I'm on the daily, I'm obviously looking for price to go bearish here to end up down here, right? So if you have a break of structure here, right, you can look at where that buy to sell is, where you can look at where your last supply zone was, right there, right? We're gonna wait for price to get in here, and then we can start looking for prices to do this on the 4 hour, to start switching like this. Now I can trade the 4 hour for the next couple of weeks, just like this, right? Just until price gets down to this demand zone, just like that, right? So if we go down to the 4 hour, right, you're going to have enough information, enough data to work with, and you're going to have a good understanding of, and high probability understanding of, where everything is in this currency pair, right? So like, if you were to trade, if you knew how I trade, I always trade the sessions. I always trade the New York session. I can't trade the London, because I don't have my London. You know, I sleep early at say 10:30 p.m. London session starts at 12 a.m. in the morning here in Los Angeles. But I do trade the New York session, which starts at 6:30 a.m. Here, and that's the only session I trade, right? And usually I take about 2 to 3 good trades out of the New York session, and that's it, okay? And so when the session comes, I only trade when the session's open. I don't trade when outside of my sessions, okay? That means, let's just say like price is here now, right? And prices are retracing here, and the New York session is just about to open. If the New York session is just about to open, I'm gonna wait for price to exchange. I'm gonna wait for price to give me a chalk, right? Something like that, right? And then look to enter from the chalk, just like this, and start entering and continuing in price, where price is supposed to go bearish, just like this, okay? Now that is much better than just saying, okay, I'm gonna be here, I'm gonna trade silly willy-nilly at any point in time in the markets, and just say I'm going to trade here today on an Asia session, or maybe Australian session, or something like that, right? Where those sessions are normally consolidating. Prices are just ranging most of the time. So hear me out on this. If you're on the 4 hour, and let's just say prices are going here on the bearish on the 4 hour, and we have 4 hour high, 4 hour low, 4 hour high, 4 hour low, so forth and so on, right? You know good and well that from the 4 hour, we have the 30 minute, 15 minute, 5 minute, 3 minute, 1 minute, and so on. You can start going in here from the 4 hour high to the 4 hour low down here, or here, right? Like just like this. And you can start looking in the 15 minute in here, right? The 15 minute that's going bearish. We'd wait for the 15 minute to switch bearish, or the 3 minute, or whatever, and start looking for entries right from the 3 minute all the way down to the 5 seconds. Maybe you can look at enter on the 5 seconds, or you can maybe even enter on the 1 minute. Some of you guys don't have the 6 seconds, but you can enter on the 1 minute, right, from here, right, and ride price all the way bearish, right, hitting your next low, maybe hitting your next demand zone here, something like this, right, from entering from this high and targeting this low, right? All that matters here is that you have enough opportunity to trade from ever since the daily time frame all the way down to your 1 minute time frame. Okay, so guys, I hope this was a little helpful. I'm hoping it was helpful, at least, to say the least. And try and ask me to see if you guys understand any of this, what I've just mentioned. I know this video is a little bit quick, but I'm hoping a lot of you guys understand. So anyway, guys, until the next.